Silence. It surrounds me. There's been only one constant in recent days, and it is the silence. It is all-encompassing, day and night, hot or cold. The silence is only broken by only the wind and the occasional rainstorm. It has been almost a year since the outbreak, and I've seen no real signs of any other survivors. I've traveled on foot and by car, and have only seen the remnants of a doomed society. Empty buildings, crowded highways filled with vehicles that will never move again, and the stench of those who did not survive. The virus began in laboratories, the result of experiments gone horribly wrong. Once the virus went airborne, it spread quickly, leaving nothing unaffected. Men, women, children, animals, even insects. There are a few surviving species that I have encountered on my journeys, but they have been few and far between. Some barely surviving, and it is evident they will not last much longer. In the beginning, I set out to find other survivors, anyone that may have survived the massive outbreak. As I made my way into major cities or a small one-horse town, each destination has ended in the same heartbreaking result. Everyone is gone. I'm hopeful there may be other survivors in other countries, but I've not been successful in establishing any kind of communication. I'm not sure why I was spared. I have no physical gifts that I am aware of, but there's no one left to run tests, take blood, or examine me to figure out why I have survived. The total desolation and nothingness has caused me to journey back to my beginnings, to make my way home. As I've made my way into familiar surroundings, I am reminded of happier days growing up in the center of the country. I make my way downtown, which once was lit up with the hustle and bustle of everyday life, with cars traveling up and down, day and night. Now, it is merely a barren, desolate graveyard of an extinct society with empty buildings marking the skyline like monumental headstones. My destination is my childhood neighborhood where I lived for 17 years. As I approach my high school, my mind begins to play tricks on me. I think I hear a car approaching, only to realize it is the wind humming through the trees. My mind then retreats to a better time when I could run around the neighborhood, climbing trees or riding bikes with friends all day till the street lamps came on, and then we knew it was time to head home. Walking up the brick street to the street where I grew up, my stomach begins to sink. I have mentally prepared myself for this moment for weeks, but as the moment approaches, I fear all the preparation I have done will not be enough to hold back the sea of emotions I have held back since the outbreak. My journey is near an end as I walk down the alley and see the backyard of my childhood home, and memories of my childhood come rushing over me like a tidal wave. I remember the backyard birthday parties as a youth, and the drinking parties in the empty lot next door as a teenager. I slowly open the door to the kitchen, anxious and afraid of the memories. I'm reminded of my wonderful mother cooking fudge in the cast iron skillet on the stove. Fortunately, she passed of natural causes years before the outbreak and was spared the misery and destruction. I then walk into the living room, and I'm reminded of the late nights spent in front of the television, watching movie after movie on a new invention called cable. The many parties, family gatherings, and friendly chats line the memories within the now empty walls. As emotional as this trip into my childhood home has been, I still have one journey to make. This is the place where I spent so much of my childhood and adolescent years. The hours I spent watching professional wrestling, drawing superheroes, and listening to 80s hair bands were some of the greatest times of my life. This was my fortress of solitude, my art studio, my air guitar concert venue, and a great place to sneak in girls. Suddenly, a childhood memory hits me so hard I almost lose my breath and I have to sit down. As a child, I would spend time in my room, standing on my bed, pretending I was the only person left in the world. Now, sadly, that may be true. Silence. It surrounds me.